Hey guys, I hope you guys are having a great day today. Today is a Shop My Stash update. We're going to be picking out new products for the month of May. But first we're going to talk through the products that I had in my previous Shop My Stash, so the month of April, and talking about how I liked them, what I didn't like about them, things like that. And I will put timestamps if you're not interested in the recap, and if you just want to see the new products that I pick out, I will definitely leave timestamps for you guys. If you're new here, hi, my name is Vivian. I'm a robotics engineer with a love for all things beauty and makeup related. I do a lot of project panning, Shop My Stash, things like that, but my main focus is just to have a really curated collection of products that I love and I use a lot, and I want to make sure I get good usage out of the products I have in my collection. So if that sounds interesting to you, be sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already, and let's just hop into it. So let's first talk through the old products. I will do this in an order of application. So the first product is my Dior Forever Skin Glow in the shade Too Warm Olive. This is one of my favorite foundations, honestly. I'm wearing it today. I think it looks really good. I think it matches me relatively well. It's one of the better shade matches I have in my collection. It's definitely like a glowier foundation, so if you are super oily, I don't know if you'd like this. My skin always looks really good when I wear this, and it lasts a really long time. So I'm glad I focused on this the last month, but I'm also glad to maybe try to focus on a different foundation because I do have a decent amount in my collection, and I just want to make sure I'm getting good usage out of everything else in my collection. The next item I have here is my Merit Day Glow Highlighting Balm in the shade Citrine. This is one of my favorite highlighters right now. It is just so good. It's so creamy and it gives you such a pretty glow without having any physical like shimmers or glitters or anything like that. It blends out really easily. I can put it on top of powder and it doesn't disturb my foundation or anything like that. It's just a really good product, and I really like the shade Citrine. It looks maybe a little bit dark when you're looking at it like in the physical tube, but the base pigment is really not super opaque. It's pretty sheer, and so I find that it works really well for me, and I think it just leaves a really pretty glow on the high points of my face. So really excited about this. I'm also really excited to pull in a new highlighter though, because I have more highlighters than I really want. If you watched my makeup inventory update from a couple videos ago, I have like 12 or so highlighters, and that seems a little bit excessive. So definitely want to try and work my way through some other ones, and the next one that I'm going to put in, I already know, is like a little sample size, so I just want to try and get more use out of that and try and finish that up. The next item I had before is my Nabla Skin Bronzing in the shade Soft Revenge. You know, it's a good bronzer. I liked it. I found that it blended out really easily, and I did need to use kind of a heavy hand to pick up the product because it is a baked formula. I like it. I'm excited to pull in a different one though, because there is one specifically that I know I haven't even used yet, and I would really like to get some use out of it. Excited to put this back and try out a different bronzer, but I did enjoy having this in my Shop My Stash this month because, you know, it just leaves a really pretty like bronzy look without being too overboard. And I really like this undertone because it is more of a cooler undertone, where I find a lot of bronzers can be quite warm and quite orange on me. I really liked it. I really like the undertone of this specifically. In terms of blush, I had two blushes in my Shop My Stash last month. The first one I had in there was my ColourPop Forever Yours Pressed Powder Blush. I really liked this. I really like the color of it. Even though it looks really intense, when you put it on a brush, it really leaves like a diffused look. Like, it's not super pigmented. It does build pretty easily, but it doesn't start off super intense in your face, which is what I really appreciate about it. Also, the packaging is really cute. I really like these like heart-shaped blushes, and yeah, it's just a good formula. I know ColourPop has a ton of different colors of their pressed powder blushes, so if you're interested in trying it, I believe they sell them at Target now too in different packaging, but they're really good blushes and they have so many shades of them. So if you're interested in trying one, just find one that suits your vibe. I did top this blush today, or I did use this blush. Oh my god. It didn't break. We're good. I did use this blush today as a topper for my Rare Beauty liquid blush in the shade Joy that's in my project pan. So, big fan. I really like this. The next blush is Persona Bubble. I mean, if you've been here for any amount of time, you guys know how I feel about this blush. I have been obsessed. I'm still obsessed. I just want to give some love to some of my other blushes because I probably have been neglecting some of them. This blush is so pretty. It looks really intense in the pan, but it really just gives this super pretty flushed look. You know, even if you don't love like a super cool tone pink look, I think this blush suits a lot of skin tones. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with it. I can't stop using it. So I'm going to force myself to stop using it by putting this away and picking out some new products for my Shop My Stash. The last two products I have in my Shop My Stash basket for April are these two eyeshadow palettes. The first one is my the Unleashia Glitterpedia eye palette in the shade Olive Browns. This is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes, honestly. I fell in love with this like the first time I tried it. If you've been on my channel for any amount of time, I love just like a glittery all over wash of color, and this palette just gives me everything I could possibly want. It has various textures of glitter, so these two are more chunky ones, and then these two are more of those like a shimmery eyeshadow instead of a glitter eyeshadow, and it has 3 mattes to work with that just blend out so easily. I just love it. I think it's a really good palette. I used this quite a bit. This palette is now one of the most used palettes in my collection. I've been doing a No Palette Left Behind challenge, and this palette has the most uses out of all of my eyeshadow palettes, so I'm just obsessed with it. I love it. I am sure that I will come back to this and reach for this very soon. The other palette I put in my Shop My Stash is the Beauty Bay Pastels palette. I used this on my eyes today, so this is my second or third time using this palette. I don't fully remember. It just has a lot of really pretty pastel shades that I think are super fun for spring. I think this palette has really good pigmentation for pastels. I know pastels can be kind of hard to formulate, and the way that I typically like to wear colors and colorful eyeshadow is just to have like a very pretty wash of color. I don't really like super intense bold eye looks on myself, so this palette is just perfect for that. I used the lilac shade on the outer corners, and then I used this lighter purple shade. This shade is called Euphoria, and the lilac color is called Daydream, but I used this lighter purple shade all over like my crease on the inner part, and I used a different glitter topper for the glitter that you see there. Just a really good palette for spring and summer. I know Beauty Bay also has their Euphoria palette, which I'm planning on pulling out more in the like actual summertime, but I've been loving this for spring. I think it's so pretty, and the colors are, you know, they're really good. They're really good, and you don't have to worry about it, and you know, I think this look turned out really pretty, and it was like no effort at all to blend out, so it's a good palette. I'm a big fan. So those are all the items in my April basket. I'm gonna put these products back, and then I will do a little bird's eye view of the makeup so that I can pick out my May basket. So be right back. My makeup is the same setup as it was before. I have my primers here, foundations, concealers, color correctors, and this section is all of my powders. So I put my Dior foundation back, and I think I'm going to pull out my Misha BB cream. I only used this a couple times since my full face of K-beauty video, so I want to just try and get more usage out of it. And I think this is a pretty good shade match for me, so I think it's worth pulling out. So for highlighter, I think I'm going to do a liquid highlighter, and I'm going to pull out my... That's not it. This is the little mini of the Refi gloss highlighter. When you swatch this, it does look pretty intense. It really looks like this intense gold, but when you blend it out, it really just leaves this really pretty shine, and there's no like real base pigment to it. And I've only ever used this like a couple times, so I think it's time to pull it out again, and it does leave a really pretty glow. So this is the new highlighter I'm going to be putting in my Shop My Stash basket. I obviously have a lot of blushes and bronzers, so we're going to maybe try to go a little bit quicker with this. I know that I want to pull out my Art Class by Rodin to Cool Contour. It looks like this, and I want to pull this out because I haven't used it yet. I said in my K-Beauty video that I purchased this, but it didn't come with my initial order, so they shipped it separately after the fact. I just wanted to try it, like get my full grasp of it. I've swatched it, but I haven't like fully tried it on my cheeks yet. So I'm taking this opportunity to like fully try it and get a good grasp of how I like it. Plus, you know, since it is more of a contoury cool tone shade, I think this will look pretty good and it won't look too orange on my skin. I'm going to pick out 2 different blushes again. I think the 2 different blushes is really good for me because it gives me some variety, and I can also use them on top of my Rare Beauty blushes to kind of change the color of it if I'm not really feeling that like peachy pink. I think the first one I'm going to pick out is this one. This is my M Cosmetics, I think these are the Heaven's Glow blushes in the shade Rococo. This is a really pretty like neutrally shade, but it still looks kind of like pinky on my skin. It's just a really pretty like everyday blush, and I think if I feel like my Rare Beauty blush is like too intense, I think this will be a good option to have to kind of tone it down a little bit. Plus, this does have a little bit of a sheen to it, so I think it'll just look really pretty for the spring summertime as well. The other blush I want to pick is also from my K-Beauty video that I didn't really get a chance to try out. This is I think the brand is the same blush. This is the single blusher in the shade. This is in the shade Dragon Red. So this is a super bright color. It's kind of like this watermelon pinky shade. It's very bright. I'm not sure how well that camera is picking up, but in person, it's like a very bright pink red. I think this will go great with a lot of my brighter looks, any blush heavy focus looks. And you know, I didn't really get a chance to use this in that video or since because I've been focusing on some other blushes. So again, I just want to take the opportunity to pull this out and try and get some more use out of it. The last section here is all of my eyeshadow palettes. You can see it's a little bit cleaner than last time, and you can see that I am missing quite a few of them because I ended up giving all of my ColourPop 9-pan palettes to one of my friends, besides Going Coconuts. So it's a little bit roomier in here. In terms of the palette that I want to pick up for this month, I'm going to go with my M Cosmetics, what is this? The Divine Skies eyeshadow palette in the colorway Rodin. I think it's really pretty. It's a neutrals color. Besides this, I am going to keep my Beauty Bay Pastels palette in here. I think it's a really fun like pastel palette for when I want a little bit of color in my life, and you know, the formula is really good and it's still kind of springtime, so I just want to try and get as much usage out of this as I can, and I think it'll be good to have an excuse to wear more colorful looks. So these are the 2 palettes that I'm picking. So that's pretty much it for this video. I am pretty happy with the basket that I chose. I think I have a good variety, and again, a lot of these products are products that I didn't get a lot of chance to use when I first got them, so this is me trying to use them, really get my like head around them, really try them out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.